The 18th Amendment of the United States Constitution, becoming effective in the United States on January 16, 1920, effectively established the prohibition of alcoholic beverages in the United States by declaring the production, transport, and sale of alcohol as illegal. Fun fact, the consumption of alcohol was legal, but the production was not. The amendment was the first to set a time delay before it would take effect following ratification, and the first to set a time limit for its ratification by the states. These are the different sections of the 18th Amendment. Section 1. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within the importation or the exportation from the United States and all the territory subjected to jurisdiction for beverages purposes is hereby prohibited. Section 2. The Congress and the several states shall have concurrent power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Section 3. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislators of the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of submission to the state by the Congress. The 18th Amendment was the result of decades of effort by the temperance movement in the United States at the time was generally considered a progressive amendment. Starting in 1906, before the 18th Amendment, the Anti-Saloon League, also known as ASL, not to be confused with the language, began leading a campaign to ban the sale of alcohol on a state level. They led speeches, advertisements, and public demonstrations claiming that banning the sale of alcohol would get rid of poverty and social issues, such as the immoral behavior and violence. Many state legislators have already enacted statewide prohibition prior to the ratification of the 18th Amendment, but did not ban the consumption of alcohol in most households. The amendment and its enabling legislation did not ban the consumption of alcohol, but made it difficult to obtain alcoholic beverages legally, as prohibited the sale and distribution of them in the U.S. Controversies. Just after the 18th Amendment's adoption, there was a significant reduction in alcohol consumption among the general public and particularly among the low-income groups. However, consumption soon climbed as underworld entrepreneurs began producing rock gut alcohol. Ultimately, during Prohibition, use and abuse of alcohol ended up higher than before it started. Likewise, there was an initial reduction in overall crime, mainly in types of crimes associated with effects of alcohol consumption. Through there were significant increases in crime involved in the production of distribution of illegal alcohol. Those who continued to use alcohol tended to turn to organized crime criminal syndicates who were able to take advantage of uneven enforcement, suddenly overwhelmed police forces and corruptible public officials to establish powerful murders and smuggling networks. The murder rate fell for 2 years, but then rose to record highs, a trend that reversed in the very year Prohibition ended. Overall, crime rose 24%, including increases in assault and battery, theft, and burglary. The 21st Amendment repealed the 18th Amendment on December 5, 1933. The amendment remains the only constitutional amendment to be repealed in its entirety, leaving only the power to regulate transportation solely to the federal government.